You're right. Well, this is the Monkey Mountain in Kaohsiung. As you can see, there's a monkey. There's a bunch of monkeys over there. There's a whole family. All right. So that's why this is the Monkey Mountain, right? There's lots of monkeys here. These are Formosan macaques. Macaques? I think that's how you say it. They're the only species of monkeys in Taiwan. They're pretty cute. Now these monkeys are known to be a bit aggressive around people. If they catch you with any kind of food, they're probably going to attack you and try and take it. The fact is that this is a human-created issue, to be honest, because a lot of people come up here to feed the monkeys. They go, wow, look at all these cute monkeys. I'm going to feed them. And because there's an introduction of food into the ecosystem, what happens is you get a lot more monkeys. And so the mountain is overpopulated with monkeys, right? And as well as that, the monkeys have come to associate people with food, right? And that's why they sort of start to attack people, because one, there's not enough food in their natural environment to sustain the population. And two, they see people, they think food, right? If they smell any food, they're gonna try and get it from you. So don't bring any food up here. And it would be nice if people would stop feeding them. It's a funny looking monkey. Right, you're gonna have to believe me. I just saw a monkey down there playing Tarzan. He was like jumping from like one really high tree down onto the next, down onto the next. Oh shit. Alright, I think this is my final hour. My last stand. They're gonna get me. See, look, they're just jumping around. You guys are so crazy. Whoa. God, that looks like fun. So cool. Whoa. They're like special forces. Oh, that looks great. Is it a dung beetle? Pretty sure it's a dung beetle. And here we have another case of maybe I shouldn't have had 6 beers last night. I just had it pointed out to me that this guy was sitting right above me, and I very well could have become his toilet. It's dangerous out here, man. Pretty nasty clouds coming in. Hopefully that's not rain. God, this is coming in fast. It's very black. Hopefully it's smog and not rain. I came here to get a good view of the port, but these black clouds have a different story. One problem with going hiking in these mountains around the cities in Taiwan is that you'll be going like, alright, I gotta push through, I gotta be strong, I'm doing it, you know, trying my best. And then you see like some like 80-year-old man strolling along like it's nothing, and you just go, oh, bro, that's embarrassing. There's a group of old folks over there, and as soon as they left, this clan of monkeys reclaimed their domain. Oh, bro. It was sunny when I started coming up here. That's so unfair. I came up here just for this view. It's starting to rain. And the shelter is controlled by monkeys. Please don't attack me. I just want to stand here so I don't get rained on. Please don't attack me. Alright, I think I'm safe. Alright, lad. You see this? That's what separates you and me. So you hide, I'm gonna go. See you later, mate. We can go to the Changsho Garden or we can go to Panrong. Why would I want Panrong when I can pan right? Hey. Man, when it rains like this, like, doesn't matter how many coats or umbrellas or anything you got, you're gonna start getting wet. Right after I filmed that, it just got heavier. Great. Always love that. You're waiting for the rain to die down and it just goes harder and harder and harder. There's a bunch of mushrooms. Do you reckon they taste good? Probably alright, eh? I should give them a go. I don't know why, but this reads to me like ancient Chinese poetry. In winter, the sun sets early. Do not go up the mountains in the evening so as to keep yourself safe. It's from Sun Tzu in the 3rd century BC. Fun fact about monkeys in Taiwan, it is legal to shoot monkeys with a BB gun as long as it's in self-defense. That was decided by a Kaohsiung court, I think, the first year I arrived here. Some woman was trying to protect her food stall from the monkeys that kept attacking her. So you got a BB gun and shot at them and it went to court. And they said it was as long as it's in self-defense. So down there we've got the country's most important port. About 67%, so 2/3 of the country's imports and exports come through this port right here. Okay, so this port's servicing about, what's that? It's got to be like 18 million people. This port services about 18 million people's supply of physical goods. So one thing I noticed, right, is a few years back there was rampant inflation all around the world, right? And I'd hear stories in the news about prices going up and everything, and when I was talking to people, especially back home in New Zealand, it was like, oh god, the price of everything's just going up and up and up, right? And they were saying, you know, it's very noticeable, and life's just getting harder and harder every week, every month, right? Everything's getting more expensive. I didn't really notice that here. There are a few things that went up by like maybe 5 NT here and there. You sort of notice a small increase in the night market prices and everything. But it wasn't at the same level as what everybody was saying in these other countries. And when I checked, the inflation levels in Taiwan remain pretty low. And so you gotta ask yourself, well, what is it that's different about Taiwan to other countries? Well, I think the big thing that is different here is that they make things at every level of production, right? So I wanted a pair of pliers one day, so I went into a shop and they have made in Taiwan pliers, right? Really basic thing. You can get lots of really basic goods that are made in Taiwanese factories. Alright? Then you got like the next level up of like sort of mid-level goods that require more complex supply chains and factory operations and all that. So I had I bought my refrigerator, it was made in Taiwan. My washing machine was made in Taiwan, and my scooter was made in Taiwan. Right? So you got that mid-level manufacturing of very high quality products. They're all made domestically. And then they obviously have the high-end products. They're a big producer of computers, very famous for producing 80% of the world's top-end computer chips. There's TSMC fabricators all over the country in there. Like the main fabricators I think are all in Hsinchu, but I think they make lower tier chips here as well in various different cities. So yeah, they have manufacturing at every level of production. And so when China shut down over COVID, well, they were far less impacted because they didn't ship all of their manufacturing off to China. They're not fully reliant on Chinese imports. And I think that the Taiwanese model really shows that while protectionism like, I mean, any economist will tell you protectionism has its blowbacks, right? But it also shields you. I mean, it's protectionism, right? It shields you from when things go wrong around the world. Bloody hell. Alright. Far out. I'm now on Qijin Island. I really wanted to show off Qijin Island because when I first came to Kaohsiung, I thought this spot was really cool. The weather does not want to work with me. I woke up this morning and looked out the window and it was bucketing down with rain. So I sort of said, well, I'm just gonna stay in bed all day. But around 5 p.m. I was finally like, I should probably go outside and just have a look at Qijin Beach anyway, because I don't want to skip it before I leave. And so Qijin Island, right, it's an island sort of that protects the main harbor here in Kaohsiung. You can sort of see behind me, this way there's a lot of the old industrial stuff. Like, you can see a lot of cranes and all that. So this is where a lot of the like harbor port activity goes on. And then on this side, you have a long sandy beach. And unlike a lot of spots in Taiwan where you have a long sandy beach, this one you can actually go swimming at, right? So I thought it was really cool the first time I came here. The weather was beautiful. I went down to Qijin Beach and they were having a beer festival. Unfortunately, the only beers they had was Budweiser, like the American one. So I was drinking Budweiser, unfortunately, but I was drinking it while like sitting with my legs in the ocean, and people were swimming, and they had like a sand castle building competition and stuff, so it was really nice. Today, the weather doesn't like me, and that's, I think it's quite unusual for it to be raining like this in August, I think. Last time I was here was August too, and the weather was lovely, so you can probably, I don't know if it comes up on the camera, but you can see there's a bunch of container ships out there waiting to come into port. See this? I bet you on a sunny day probably looks pretty nice. There's people out here surfing. They got a more positive attitude than I do. Good on you guys. Alright, the rain has stopped. Still very grey, but quite a beautiful spot, isn't it? So up this end, it's more like it's definitely like a very like set up for tourist vibes, but it's quite nice. Like there's a bar there, the nice old church sort of in the background, the big Shoshan, the mountain there, and then you got up there, you've got the lighthouse. So really nice spot, but it is not the day for it, bro. Well, there's the nice old church, but someone's put the house in front of it. I've only ever seen it from a distance. That's crazy. How do you put your house in front of the church like that? So that is Qijin Beach. There's the bar. There's the fancy church in the background. Where is it? Oh, it's hiding behind a tree. There's the beach. And the container ships out at sea. And this is the face of a disappointed man who wanted to come see a nice sunny beach and a nice sunset, but instead found rain and sadness. So this here, this fire, this is all the just paper, the paper and money, incense paper that's being burnt, and that's gonna send money to the afterlife, right? It's a sacrifice, an offering, so doing a big one there. I've seen quite a bit of it while I've been in Kaohsiung because it's the end of the ghost month. The ghost month I don't know that much about, but it's like when I think it's when all the ghosts come back, right? And so there's certain things you're not meant to do during that whole month. Like you're not meant to hang your clothes outside. You're not meant to go swimming because the ghosts will pull you under the water. And yeah, it's just like a lot of religious ceremony that goes around it, as well as a lot of superstitions. But yeah, they're sending money to the afterlife. And the one thing that I was a little bit shocked by was that, oh, I didn't know I had to send my ancestors money for the afterlife. So have my ancestors just been like broke this whole time, while like Taiwanese people's ancestors have been like rolling in cash? Are my like ancestors on bloody ghost welfare? I don't know, bro. I think I'm gonna have to start to send some money to them.